You feel it, don't you? The afternoon energy crash that feels inescapable. The brain fog you brush off as just getting older. You follow the rules, choose the healthy options, yet the vitality you remember continues to slip away. You've been told this is a normal part of aging, but the real cause is entirely different than what you've been taught to believe. After spending 20 years analyzing the nutritional research that rarely makes it out of scientific journals, I can tell you this decline is not your fate. It is a biological process that can be reversed. In this video, I will reveal the 5 common breakfast habits that the most recent data shows are the primary drivers of accelerated aging and metabolic disruption after 50. I'm going to expose the #1 offender that millions of people over 50 eat every single morning, believing it's the best choice they can make. I can almost guarantee it's in your kitchen at this very moment. But you've been taught to prepare it in a way that completely negates its benefits and actively harms your body. This journey is not about restriction. It's about making precise, powerful upgrades. By the end of this video, you will have a complete, accessible protocol that you can apply tomorrow morning. This isn't a theory. It works regardless of your current age or condition, because the science is unequivocally clear on this. Drop your age in the comments right now. I want you to see for yourself how this information applies directly to where you are, and you'll find you are in very good company on this journey. Let us begin with the first and most common deception that starts so many mornings. We begin with number 5, the morning sugar flood. This isn't some obscure ingredient. It's likely sitting on your breakfast table right now, disguised as a symbol of health and sunshine, a simple glass of orange juice. This is the perfect place to start our journey, because fixing this one habit costs nothing, requires no effort, and can be implemented the moment you wake up tomorrow. It's the foundational error that sets the stage for the entire metabolic drama of your day. To understand the danger, you need to understand the mechanism. When you eat a whole orange, its sugar is encased in a complex web of fiber. This fiber acts like a slow-release capsule. But the moment you juice the fruit, you obliterate this protective structure. The sugar is unleashed, naked and aggressive. It hits your bloodstream in a single massive wave, forcing your pancreas into emergency mode, releasing a flood of the fat storage hormone, insulin. Decades of research from institutions like Harvard School of Public Health have been unequivocal. Liquid sugar is one of the single most damaging things we can consume. Your body doesn't recognize the calories from a sugary drink in the same way it does from food. It doesn't trigger the same fullness signals, yet it demands a massive hormonal response that your system was never designed to handle on a daily basis. A single 8-ounce glass of 100% natural orange juice contains nearly 40 grams of sugar, virtually the same amount as a can of soda. The absence of the fruit's fiber makes the delivery so brutally efficient that the glycemic impact is almost identical. You are essentially starting your day with a dessert, creating a metabolic crisis before you've even truly begun your morning. This is precisely why groups like the American Diabetes Association build their core recommendations around the elimination of sugar-sweetened beverages. It's not a controversial stance, it's a biological reality. That daily flood of pure fructose and glucose is a direct training program for insulin resistance, which is the gateway to prediabetes, chronic inflammation, and the stubborn weight gain that plagues so many after 50. So how do you fix it? The application is immediate. Tomorrow morning, instead of pouring that glass of juice, pour a glass of water, or better yet, a cup of green tea. You have instantly eliminated a massive sugar spike without changing anything else about your routine. This single, simple swap stops the daily flood and allows your body to start the day in a state of calm balance. But here is the synergy tip, the kind of insight that separates basic knowledge from true mastery. If you love the taste and nutrients of an orange, eat the orange. The fiber matrix within the whole fruit is the antidote to the poison of its juice. That fibrous web slows down sugar absorption, feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut, and promotes satiety. It's nature's built-in safety mechanism. By ignoring this, you are choosing to start each day by training your body for disease. You are paving the road to insulin resistance and the chronic inflammation that silently ages your arteries and your joints. But drinking your sugar is just the beginning. The real deception starts when the sugar is hidden in plain sight, inside foods marketed as the peak of health. That brings us to number four, the health halo trap. This is a concept that most physicians never have time to bring up in a 15-minute appointment, but it's one of the most powerful forces shaping your food choices. The food industry has mastered the art of wrapping a metabolically destructive product in the language of health. And the poster child for this deception is commercial granola. It's a perfect wolf in sheep's clothing. The box shows you fields of oats, happy families, and phrases like whole grain and natural. You believe you are choosing a wholesome mix of nuts and seeds straight from the earth. But when you turn the box over, you find a list of ingredients that reads more like a candy bar. Glucose syrup, cane molasses, inflammatory vegetable oils, and multiple other forms of sugar designed to make the product irresistible. This isn't just a little bit of sugar. Many of the most popular brands have more added sugar per serving than a frosted donut. You are essentially eating crushed-up cookies for breakfast and calling it health food. The problem is that your body doesn't care about the marketing. It only responds to the chemistry. And the chemistry of granola is an immediate and overwhelming spike in blood glucose. This creates what I call the cycle of failure. That intense sugar rush is inevitably followed by a hard crash about 90 minutes later. As your blood sugar plummets, your body sends out a powerful hormonal signal, screaming for more quick energy. This isn't a lack of willpower, it's a biochemical command. Nutritional science shows this spike and crash directly increases the hunger hormone ghrelin, guaranteeing you'll spend the rest of the day fighting cravings. Consumer research journals have published extensive studies on this health halo phenomenon. When a food is labeled as low-fat or natural, people subconsciously assume it is healthier and consume more of it. The food industry knows this and exploits it masterfully. They are selling you a sugar delivery system disguised as a path to wellness. The application here is to become a food detective. Ignore the front of the box completely. It is pure marketing. Your only concern is the nutrition facts panel and the ingredients list on the side or back. Your mission is to find the line for added sugars. If that number is higher than 5 or 6 grams, you put the box down. You are disarming the trap by looking past the illusion. I often think of my patient John, a 68-year-old from Chicago, who was convinced his constant fatigue and brain fog were just an inevitable part of getting older. His breakfast was a large bowl of store-bought granola with skim milk. We simply swapped that one meal out. 2 weeks later, he called me, his voice full of energy, saying the morning fog had completely lifted. He felt sharper and more alive than he had in years. To get the satisfying crunch without the metabolic crash, the synergy tip is simple. Create your own mix. A handful of raw walnuts, almonds, and some chia or flax seeds added to a bowl of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt gives you protein, healthy fat, and fiber. This combination provides the texture you love while actively stabilizing your blood sugar. As bad as hidden sugar in granola is, at least it feels like a treat. The food at number 3 is something doctors have told you to eat for decades, and they were tragically wrong. We left off on the idea that a food doctors have recommended for decades was tragically wrong. That food, number 3 on our list, is what I call the great grain deception. I'm talking about the standard plastic-wrapped loaf of whole wheat bread that sits in nearly every supermarket in the country. For 50 years, we've been told to choose it over white bread. But what if I told you that for your blood sugar, the difference is almost meaningless? The problem isn't the grain, it's the pulverization. Modern industrial milling takes a whole grain and grinds it into a microscopic dust, a flour so fine that your digestive system can access its starch almost instantly. Research on the glycemic index, first developed at the University of Sydney, shows that many commercial whole wheat breads raise blood sugar nearly as fast and as high as plain white bread. The protective fiber has been so thoroughly obliterated that it can't do its job. Think of it like 2 different engines. The industrial bread loaf operates on a fast burn, explosive motor. The moment it hits your system, the ultrafine flour acts like a dry sponge, instantly dissolving and releasing its entire payload of glucose in a single, overwhelming surge. This forces that same insulin panic response we saw with the orange juice, triggering inflammation and fat storage. It's a sugar bomb disguised as a health food. Now consider the engine of a traditional bread, like authentic sourdough. This is a slow burn motor. The wild yeasts and bacteria in the sourdough starter begin to pre-digest the starches in the flour. They consume the sugars, lowering the overall glycemic load. This process fundamentally changes the structure of the bread, turning it into a source of steady, controlled energy, not a metabolic explosion. This difference is everything. When you repeatedly trigger that fast burn engine with modern bread, you are fueling a low-grade chronic fire in your gut. Day after day, this systemic inflammation travels throughout your body. It is a scientifically recognized contributor to the very symptoms that people over 50 fear most: aching joints, cardiovascular issues, and even cognitive decline. This is the connection that is so often missed. That morning toast isn't just a benign part of your routine. It could be a daily contributor to the pain in your knees, the stiffness in your hands, and the fog that clouds your thinking. When you understand that this healthy food may be actively preventing you from enjoying your life to the fullest, you realize that changing it isn't a sacrifice. It's an act of reclaiming your future. And the application here is where hope truly begins. You don't have to give up bread, you have to upgrade it. The synergy tip is to switch to a real, traditionally made sourdough bread, where you can see the bubbles from fermentation, or a bread made from truly intact, sprouted grains. These aren't just slightly better, they are metabolically different foods that work with your body, not against it. Look, if you've already been surprised by what you've heard and you're starting to connect the dots to how you've been feeling, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. What I'm about to share next about the dairy aisle and the #1 offender is the most critical information in this entire video, and I don't want you to miss what comes next. So while we have uncovered the quiet inflammation caused by the great grain deception, this damage is subtle compared to the metabolic chaos caused by our next item. But even the great grain deception pales in comparison to the betrayal lurking in the dairy aisle. #2 is a daily habit for millions, and it's devastating their gut health from the inside out. That brings us to the betrayal in the dairy aisle. #2 is a daily habit for millions, and it's called the dairy dessert. I'm talking about flavored yogurt. You're likely thinking, wait, I eat yogurt for my gut health, for the probiotics. This is precisely why this deception is so effective. You've been led to believe you're nurturing your internal ecosystem, when in reality, you are serving it a bowl of sugar. Some of the most popular fruit on the bottom or vanilla-flavored yogurts contain over 25 grams of added sugar. That's more sugar than a glazed donut disguised as a health food. You have been given the wrong information your entire life. The idea that a sugary yogurt is good for your gut is a nutritional lie. The billions of beneficial bacteria in your gut, your microbiome, are like a garden. The beneficial strains thrive on fiber and polyphenols, but pathogenic bacteria and yeasts like Candida thrive on sugar. When you eat that flavored yogurt, you are not feeding your allies. You are funding an insurgency. You are giving the worst inhabitants of your gut the precise fuel they need to multiply. Crowd out your protectors and take over. This internal battle has real-world consequences. A gut microbiome dominated by sugar-loving pathogens, a state known as dysbiosis, is directly linked to a weakened immune system, mood disorders through the gut-brain axis, and an impaired ability to absorb nutrients from the healthy food you do eat. You can be eating a perfect diet, but if your gut is a war zone, you won't reap the benefits. You are unknowingly sabotaging your own biology from the inside out with a food you believe is helping you. Research from institutions studying the human microbiome has made it clear. The diversity of your gut bacteria is a key predictor of your overall health. That spoonful of sugary yogurt acts like an invasive species in a delicate ecosystem. The sugar feeds a very narrow group of opportunistic microbes, allowing them to dominate the terrain. This is the opposite of what you want. A healthy gut is a biodiverse rainforest. A sugar-fed gut is a barren monoculture, incapable of producing the vital compounds, like short-chain fatty acids, that protect your body from inflammation. This is not a passive problem. When your gut lining is compromised by this imbalance, it can become more permeable, a condition often called leaky gut. This allows inflammatory molecules and undigested food particles to escape into your bloodstream, triggering a system-wide immune response. This is the very systemic inflammation we discussed earlier. The food you are eating to calm your system is in fact one of the primary drivers of the fire. I think of Margaret, 75, from Austin, who came to me with an A1C of 6.4, putting her on the razor's edge of a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. Her breakfast was a flavored yogurt, and as we'll soon discuss, instant oatmeal. After just 3 months of making the simple swaps we are talking about today, her A1C dropped to a healthy 5.6. She lost 15 pounds of inflammatory weight without counting a single calorie, and she had the energy to garden for 3 hours straight, something she told me, with tears in her eyes, she hadn't been able to do in over a decade. Margaret's story is possible for you, and the synergy tip is the key. The solution is not to abandon yogurt, but to choose the right kind and combine it intelligently. Switch to plain, full-fat Greek or Icelandic skyr. Then, add a small handful of high-fiber, low-sugar berries, like blueberries or raspberries. The protein and fat buffer the sugar absorption, while the fiber and polyphenols in the berries provide the exact prebiotic fuel your beneficial bacteria need to thrive. You are turning your breakfast from a weapon against your gut into a tool to rebuild it. And that brings us to the #1 breakfast food destroying your blood sugar. This one is the ultimate betrayal, because it takes a genuinely healthy food, strips it of its power, and turns it into a metabolic weapon against you. I told you at the very beginning of this video that #1 was already in your kitchen. I said that millions of seniors eat it every single morning, believing it is the healthiest possible choice they can make. This isn't an exaggeration or a trick. The most dangerous, metabolically destructive food on this entire list is something you've been told to eat for your heart, for your cholesterol, and for your health for decades. And the betrayal lies not in the food itself, but in how it has been processed. The #1 breakfast food destroying your blood sugar is the ultimate betrayal: instant oatmeal. Not oatmeal, but instant oatmeal. This is the absolute pinnacle of food marketing deception, because it takes a genuine superfood, surgically removes its soul, and leaves behind a sugary ghost. The very thing that makes oatmeal a hero, its powerful slow-release fiber, is destroyed for the sake of convenience, turning it into a villain that spikes your blood sugar faster than table sugar itself. The magic of real unprocessed oats comes from a specific type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. Think of this fiber as a protective suit of armor. Over 15,000 peer-reviewed studies from institutions including Harvard have confirmed that when intact, beta-glucan forms a thick, viscous gel in your gut. This gel slows down digestion, steadies the release of sugar into your bloodstream, and even binds to cholesterol to remove it from your body. It is one of the most powerful protective compounds in the human diet. The food industry's great betrayal was to take this incredible grain and pulverize it into a fine powder to create instant oats that cook in 1 minute. This process completely shatters the delicate structure of the beta-glucan fiber. It's like taking that protective suit of armor and grinding it into dust. It can no longer form the protective gel. It can no longer do its job. All that remains is a rapidly absorbed starch. You are left with a product that looks like oatmeal and tastes like oatmeal, but from a metabolic standpoint, it behaves like pure starch. You are getting the cannonball without the armor. Instead of the gentle, slow release of energy that real oats provide, you get a massive, immediate glucose spike. You are not only missing out on all the benefits, you are actively getting the worst possible outcome: a surge of insulin that promotes fat storage and accelerates cellular aging. The FDA itself acknowledges the heart health claims of beta-glucan from whole oats, but that claim is implicitly tied to the fiber being structurally intact. The tragic irony is that by reaching for the convenient option, you are paying for a benefit that no longer exists in the product. You are eating a phantom, a memory of a healthy food, while your body deals with the reality of a rapid sugar influx. The precise biological mechanism is a beautiful example of food structure. That viscous gel we talked about, the one formed by intact beta-glucan, is a hydrocolloid shield. It physically traps sugars and starches, forcing your body to absorb them slowly over hours. When you eat instant oatmeal, no shield is formed. The starches are naked, exposed, and dump into your bloodstream in minutes, creating a metabolic emergency. So here is the final, most powerful synergy tip that brings everything together. The application is simple. Throw out the instant oatmeal packets. Replace them with steel-cut or thick-rolled oats. Yes, they take longer to cook, but that cooking time is the proof that the fiber is still intact. Now, build your fortress. Cook your steel-cut oats. Number 1. Stir in a spoonful of chia seeds and walnuts. Number 4. And top it with a handful of blueberries. Number 2. This is the super breakfast. It combines the slow-release carbohydrates, the protein, the healthy fats, and the polyphenol-rich fruits into a single meal that will keep your blood sugar stable for hours. It was never about eating less. It was always about eating smarter. The answer wasn't to fear food, but to understand it. The power was never in a pill or a potion. It was in the knowledge of how to honor the integrity of the food you eat. You now possess a complete framework to stop the blood sugar roller coaster and reclaim your energy. It's about understanding the silent conversation happening inside your body with every single bite you take. So, we have dismantled these 5 breakfast lies, one by one. The path forward is not a complex doctrine, but a series of simple, powerful truths. Honor the soul of the food. Protect your gut from hidden desserts. Understand that not all grains are created equal. Question the health halo that marketing creates. And above all, stop drinking your sugar. These are not rules, they are principles of respect for your own biology. Your body is not your enemy. It is not broken or failing. It possesses an incredible innate intelligence, and it has been fighting for you every single day, even when you unknowingly gave it the wrong fuel. For decades, it has been sending you signals, the fatigue, the fog, the aches, asking for the right tools. Today, you have learned how to provide them. Think of your health not as a machine that breaks down, but as a dormant garden. For years, you may have been unknowingly planting weeds and wondering why no flowers grew. Today, that ends. You are not a victim of this barren landscape. You are the gardener. You now hold the seeds of vitality in your hand, seeds of protein, fiber, and healthy fat. It is time to start planting. You are not a passive patient waiting for a diagnosis. You are the architect of your own health. The power to fundamentally change the trajectory of your well-being for the next 10, 20, or 30 years is not in a future prescription or a complex medical procedure. It is on your breakfast plate tomorrow morning. You are in control now. In my next video, we are going to take this knowledge from the pantry to the countertop and discuss the 3 healthy cooking oils that may be causing silent inflammation in your body. What the latest research shows about how these oils behave at high temperatures is something you will not want to miss. Which of these 5 habits are you going to try first? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. Roteiro compilado. Pronto para o step forte. Auditor e limpador.